hosted by Chris Rubio. Decades is a show made up of 5 generations of people brought together to discuss topics you wouldn't normally talk about with others. The goal of the show is to learn by having some good, possibly heated discussions, without losing the simple fact that it's okay to talk to different people with different opinions other than your own.
What's up? My name is Chris Rubio. I'm the host of Decades on NGBN TV. We've got a phenomenal show. We've got some new faces coming back at you. Let me introduce the man behind everything. He's the gaffer. He's the boom guy. He's the Rubio Wrangler. Ooh, that kind of rhymes. Isn't that alliteration, Sub 68? Well, let me just bring him out. Sub 68.
Yes. A boomer and a gaffer and a Rubio Wrangler. That has a nice little kind of...
Yeah, that's alliteration, right?
Yeah. That sounded good. I didn't know... They teach that at UCLA.
Oh,
you know, you could learn that.
First day stuff for the Bruins.
Oh, yeah, exactly. No, we got a full house tonight. This should be really good. Like you said, some new faces. But before we get started, I got to give a shout out to one of our friend of mine and a Decades fan. His name is Alan Cole, and he does a lot of stuff to support the troops, and he works a lot with Operation Enduring Warrior. And he does different kinds of campaigns to raise money for them. It's like a Wounded Warriors type organization. I'm going to post a link on YouTube as well. Go ahead and check him out. The man's a maniac. Just had knee replacement surgery, and he's already doing. I was talking to him earlier tonight. He did 6 miles in a driving rainstorm in 2 hours, and he's doing with a rucksack, probably about 30 or 40 pound rucksack. So give them a check out. Excellent organization. So just wanted to give my friend a plug. And other than that, we can getting on, my friend.
Fantastic. Sub 68, make sure throughout the show you put all your email address as well as his website so people can email you if they have any questions and comments and things like that. As you know, we're live right now on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Let's start the show. Let me bring out well, he was 40s until about 12 hours ago. Give it up for AC Anthony Cobbs. He lives in Los Angeles. He's a teacher, coach, host, and he hosts AC Sports Live, which is coming on tonight at 9 p.m. Pacific time. AC, happy birthday, my man.
Thank you kindly, guys.
Happy
birthday. Looking forward to it. Thank you, sir.
Guy, you know I'm going to crush it, Daddy. Let's start with our older or more veterans. Let's start with Jay Gaskell. He's 60. We call him the Judge. He's an Idaho native, a Seahawks fan, a retired district court judge, makes the best old-fashioned in the Northwest, allegedly. What's up, Judge?
Can you see me?
I can see you. It looks like a floating head due to the camo. You're showing off a lot of chest hair today, Judge.
Yeah, I don't have
I like that. Okay. Next, also representing our 60s, we've got Bill Geiser, entrepreneur, wearable tech guru, phenomenal swimmer that lives in Florida. What's up, Bill?
Hey, what's up, Decadians? Greeting from the free state of Florida.
Decadians, I like that a lot.
Decadians, yes.
Decadians.
I sparked everyone's mind with my alliteration to start.
Yes, there you go.
Flowing. There it is. Good God. All right, now back to the 50s.
I trademarked it. Small royalty.
Pat Riley, 3P in the 80s.
Yes.
Alex Chris from the 50s, originally from the Ukraine, grew up in the USSR, lives in Los Angeles, beer connoisseur, and heads up the Charlie Sheen fan club. What's up, Alex Chris? We call him Gru.
Greetings from the state of California. It's always backwards around here.
Yes, it is. Next, another 50s, Jim Scarano. Jim is from Ocean City, New Jersey, an avid outdoorsman, father of 2, and a public educator. What is up, Jim?
Good evening, everybody. Good to be here today. Mother Nature is speaking heavily behind me, so hopefully we get through this.
We'll get through it. Now we've got a new face. Welcome, Charles Schultz. No relation to the Peanuts character. He's 40. He's from Wooster, Ohio. He's an All-American in baseball and strength and conditioning. That's pretty impressive. Host of The Edge of Greatness and proof that white men can jump. What's up, Charles Schultz?
What's happening, guys?
Well, so why can't you jump? Can you dunk a basketball?
Oh, easily.
How tall are you?
5'10", 5'11".
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty impressive. Representing our 20s, we've got Charles Wallace Jr. He's a 2-time wiffle ball champion, host of From Gridiron to Goalposts, and really into AI blondes in bikinis. What's up, Chalice?
What's up, guys? Happy birthday, AC.
Or should we say White Goodman from dodgeball. And last but certainly not least, give it up for Cruz Rubio, also in his 20s, student athlete in Middle California, likes to barbecue, argue, wear chunkless, and go to the beach. What's up, Cruiser?
Howdy.
All right, so we've got a great show, obviously. I'm going to give you all 4 topics that we're going to cover, but we're going to hit one first. First topic is going to be what needs to be done in the NFL. Number 2 is Lloyd Austin, the Secretary of Defense, was in Walter Reed for 4 days and no one knew. Joey B didn't even know for 3. Number 3, why are the suicide rates climbing so quickly in the first 2 weeks of 2024? And 4, New Year's resolutions, do they work or not? So those are the 4 topics we're going to be covering. So if you guys have comments throughout the entire show, feel free to do it live on LinkedIn, YouTube, or Facebook. Let's start with what needs to be fixed in the NFL. I'm going to go to the oldest person on the planet, or in Decadia. Decadia, see that, Bill Geiser? Let's go to the judge. Judge, what's one thing
Decadians.
Decadians, but they live in Decadia. So we're going to try to keep our answers to like 30 seconds to a minute. So, Judge, what needs to be fixed?
Well, you can't fix what needs to be fixed. It's the money that makes it bad. But what you could fix is the terrible refereeing that we've had that gets worse and worse and worse, and games being decided by bad calls. I think that's where they should start to fix it. Other than that, I think the money is going to keep anything from getting fixed.
What do you mean the money?
It's just too big. There's too much money. There's too much TV revenue. It's too popular. They're not going to change anything that makes any difference unless it's increase their money.
Okay, AC, what's your thoughts of being the birthday boy? And I know you're an adamant football watcher.
Well, I'm in agreement with Judge. The referees need to be full-time in referees. I think they're all part-time, and that kind of probably takes away from their profession, and they need to redefine what a catch is. I'm tired of seeing guys catch the ball, and then they're like, well, did he complete the catch? If the ball stops spinning in your hand, you caught the ball. I don't know what park you played at when you were small, but when I caught the ball and then somehow pops out, I caught that ball. It's a reception. There's a lot of things they can fix, but they're making tons over money. They're making hand over fist money. There's nothing to really be fixed. This is the greatest game in the world, highly watched. Super Bowls, probably most televised, most watched program in the world. So they probably don't need to fix anything, just adjust some things. Refs first.
Yeah. It's one of those things that you go back to the old analogy or KISS, keep it simple, stupid. Like they're making it too hard on certain things. Like you catch the ball, like you said, the ball stops spinning, boom, it's done. You caught the ball. You don't have to do a football move, because I'll tell you right now, AC's football move is going to look a hell of a lot different than my football move. Or Cruz's. Nothing personal, Cruz. You got DNA. All right. Chalice, what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, not much that can be said that hasn't been said already. I think the referees, I'm pretty vocal about how terrible I think they are. But for the past 6 weeks, things have been going pretty well in my football world, so I can't complain too much.
Because you're not even a football lover. You're just a football hater of Philly.
Exactly.
Here's one thing that I don't understand. With all the technology now, and they have all these AWS commercials, you see them all the time, where by the time this punt lands, they've got 8,000 stats because of the revolutions, the ball, blah, blah, blah. How do they not have one of those microchips in the ball? If they do already, because they said they do, how is it not hard to just put chips all over the field in first and 10? You know, like it's a 4th and 1, and they're bringing out 1986, well, not even 86, 46 chains, like when Judge was 30 years old. Bill Geiser, what's your thoughts? Good, Bill.
Well, I've got to comment on that concept of using chips inside footballs, because I worked on a project a number of years ago with Adidas for the World Cup and putting chips inside soccer balls, because there's an issue, or there has been an issue over the years, on whether it's a goal or not. You know, it's a arbitrary call, usually made by a referee, and there are easily some technology solutions that can at least give a referee a lot more solid, concrete information to make decisions on. And I don't see why they couldn't do that in football. And to AC's point, I think they do need to figure out what a catch is, because there was a period about, 10 years ago, when Tony Romo threw to Des Bryant in the corner against Green Bay, and that was a catch, by the way. Was called a drop ball, but yeah, I think just calling plays has been a problem there.
I think I don't understand how, like tennis, they use that almost animated line judge where they have the ball goes whoop, and you can see where it hits. Why can't they do that with football? I just don't get it. Charles Schultz, you're nodding your head. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me would be taking out the subjectivity of the review system, because like you mentioned that they have the technology where you can see exactly what 122-mile-an-hour serve hits the line, and they show the ball expanding across it. It shows whether it's in or out. Why not set those up at the goal line? Why do we have to rely on some crappy camera angle that then they go, well, we don't have the best view in this game because it's a regional broadcast and it's not on prime time, and we have 7 cameras set up, and so this touchdown's now not a touchdown because we can't tell.
For the timeout review, they need to immediately. You got 1 minute to figure it out. If you can't do it in 1 minute, because I watch pretty much all the football games that I watch with the judge, and we have it figured out. And don't get us wrong, we both have 180 IQ. We have it figured out within 10 seconds of, okay, that was obviously a catch or fumble, this, that. What's your thoughts on this, Jim?
I think the NFL would argue that anything needs to be fixed because, like everybody said, they're making millions and upon millions. So much so that now they're forcing us to download Peacock to watch some playoff games coming up, which kind of irritated me. But for me, being my age and growing up, one of the things that I liked in following a team is you could count on the guys being on the team year after year. And I think there's so much player movement now, that it makes it difficult, to keep track of guys and what team they're on. And
hold on, Jim. Are you talking NFL or college?
Well, both, but NFL. Yeah, but NFL. The other thing I would like to see is I always thought that they should move the Super Bowl to Saturday. I always thought that for the common person, that would make some, and I think they would actually make more money if that's possible to do that. But certainly it would cut down on the number of people calling out on Monday morning the day after. And I think they've protected the quarterbacks so much now that it's almost become a little bit ridiculous.
Almost.
Watching football in the mid to late 70s, and when they would clothesline somebody, or some of the plays that just you can't hit anybody anymore.
Show of hands, who thinks the Super Bowl should be on Saturday instead of Sunday? Yes, raise your hand if yes. Ooh. Charles Schultz, AC, and Bill Geiser. I'm sub 60. You got your little pop. Okay. AC, real quick, why do you say no?
Because it's just NFL football is a Sunday game, and it's just something if you grew up traditionally.
Hold on. You've got Monday, you've got Thursday, you've got Saturday, you've got Sunday.
Those are all gimmicks. Monday Night Football is a gimmick. It worked. Thursday Night Football is a gimmick, and it works if you put the right matchups together. But the Super Bowl, as a kid, we used to always say that kid's going to play on Sundays. It's just something that's ingrained in our culture, man.
I'll give you that. Cruz, what's your thoughts on all this?
Are you just asking like the beginning question or the Super Bowl question?
Yes.
Okay. So I think that one rule that really irritates me is let's say like the guy's running towards the end zone, he fumbles the ball goes into the end zone, goes out the back of the end zone or end zone. I think the ball should go back to the 1 yard line or wherever the ball went out from, instead of giving the ball back to their team. I think that's one of the stupidest rules. And then as someone who's just finished out his last year of college football, at least, I know it's similar in the NFL. The fair catch outside of the end zone is really dumb to me. Mm-hmm. I think it's really stupid. I think it gives a huge opportunity. Like, it's just dumb.
Agreed.
AC, didn't Skip Hicks do that against Washington State, fumbled it out of the end zone?
Yes, you did.
What a hell memory of me. Gru, what's your final thoughts on this?
I think more technology will make the refereeing better in football like it did in soccer.
Okay. I'll take that. Does anyone have any final comments? Or are we going to break toward AC? Go ahead.
One thing. Maybe we're all being watched like the Truman Show, and these things are wrong and irritating us just so we be talking about it. So they're not only putting a product on the field that is fan friendly with a lot of football scoring, but we're arguing about how do we fix a game that they're not going to fix for us. So for us angry fans, us Philadelphia Eagles fans, and as we're watching our 10-1 team lose 5 of the last 6, maybe we're all being trolled by the NFL. We just don't know.
Okay, but hold on. I you know me, I love to argue. How do you know they're not going to adjust certain things? Look at baseball. They finally figured out everyone hates how boring you are. No one wants to watch a 4-hour game. So they have the little play clock. So what do they get? 20 seconds, 30 seconds? I don't watch baseball. But they get a certain amount of time and you get out of the batter's box. Let's go, man. Let's go. And they're calling strikes and balls and they're doing all that. I mean, so that's an improvement.
That's a fan-friendly improvement. Players don't. I don't know. I'm sure Schultz can probably clear us. Do players like to be sped up? Pitchers are not probably happy about it.
I wouldn't have liked it. It would have been a big no for me, but
Yeah,
I get why they did it.
Both.
Oh.
I mean,
Like sitting there as a pitcher, like if I come set and I just hold the ball until you call time, or I go, all right, it's been 30 seconds, I might throw a ball now. That's a mind game. Like part of that is the strategy of getting them uncomfortable, because hitting's hard. It's the hardest thing to do in sports, in my opinion. And the more uncomfortable I can make somebody, the harder it is for them.
Well, Charles, obviously you've never long snapped with that comment. If that's the hardest thing in sports. Should be Saturday. Mona says should be Saturday. You guys need the next day to get reset. Yeah, that's a great point. Okay, well done. And
what about the overtime rules?
The overtime rule is trash. They need to go to the NCAA overtime rule. Everyone knows that.
But they won't, because they want us to be pissed about it. They won't.
They want us to be pissed about it. And that's like the NCAA, the FBS. They should follow the FCS rule for the championship and just have like this. But they won't do it because you can't. The big brother can't take advice from the little brother. That's my thought. That's my thought on that. Make the Bears great again. Yeah, they need a lot of work. They need a lot of work. On that note, let's Sub 60 take us out to commercial, please, and we'll come back and we're going to talk about Lloyd Austin and the Secretary of Defense.
You have been watching Decades, a show on the NGBN.TV network.
Here's the tip how to enable voice isolation on iPhone. Number 1, start or answer a phone call. Number 2, swipe down from the top right corner of your screen to access your control center. Number 3, tap mic mode near the top right corner of your screen. Number 4, tap voice isolation. Here is a pro tip. Instead of turning this feature on during a call with someone else, you can call yourself and enable voice isolation by following the steps above. To disable voice isolation, follow the same steps above and tap standard in mic mode. This will return your microphone back to its default settings. This tip is brought to you by Alex on Tech.
Come back to Decades. Take it away, Rubio.
Okay, welcome back. All the Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn watchers, everyone sharing. We really appreciate that. We're on the NGBN TV network. Gru, what the hell is voice isolation? What is that?
Well, it was actually a tip for you as an iPhone user, because you complain that people don't use, use Macs and iPhones and stuff, and I just decided to have one. I'm not sure if you knew about it or not. I just found a tip and I did present it to people who use iPhone, which I don't.
Okay, but what the hell does voice isolation mean? Bill Geiser, do you know you're an iPhone guy and it's all techie?
I don't know and I don't care.
As the president of Decadia, he does not care. Okay, Gru, I want you to tell me what voice isolation is, because
my iPhone just works. I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I don't understand. All right, next topic. Lloyd Austin. The Secretary of Defense was in Walter Reed for 4 days and no one knew. Joey B didn't know for 3 days, and turns out he has pancreatic cancer. And this guy's the number 6 in line. Okay, it goes Joey B, Kamala, then it keeps on going. He's number 6. Does anyone else find this a huge issue that he just went MIA for 4 days and no one knew, and even the President of the United States didn't know? Gru, and then Bill, and then Judge, because he's shaking his head, of course.
Well, apparently he was treated for prostate cancer, and I don't know whether his treatment for prostate cancer is classified and nobody should know about it. That's, kind of a mystery to me. Why no one knew or no one claims to know.
Yeah, David, I think it's Bazinet, just said pure incompetence like the way they left. Bazinet, just like the way we left Afghanistan. Bill Geiser, you had your finger up. Go ahead.
Well, everyone gets sick from time to time, and I hope the guy's okay. But if he was seriously ill and kind of disappeared without letting other people in the organization, particularly the president, know. That is a fundamental problem. And it doesn't have to do with the succession plan. It has to do with the chain of command. I mean, just think about what's going on in the world today. We're on the cusp of war in the Middle East. We've got American soldiers that have been attacked in the Middle East. And, so we need our best and brightest working 24/7. And if this guy is nowhere to be found and the president, the phone goes off and he orders something to be done and he calls Lloyd and no one's there to answer it, we got a problem. And the fact that we allow something like that to happen is pure incompetence. I mean, if this were a business, his ass would be fired. Period. That'd be
Judge,
it.
what's your thoughts on
There's
this?
the door, Jack. We'll see you.
Judge,
I don't get it.
My understanding is he delegated a lot of his duties to the next couple people in command. There's nothing saying that he's incapacitated or that those people couldn't reach him. I think it's much ado about nothing. It's not like Biden knows where he's at every minute or needs to know where he's at every minute. I think chain of command was kept intact, and I think it's just a big. Let's make a big ado about nothing.
But what about if someone says, okay, a big ado about nothing, but what they say, if they're willing to hide this from the people, what else would they be hiding from the people? Especially because Joey B is 147 years old and he can't walk upstairs. I mean, that could be kind of an issue here. Charles,
do we need to know that he's having treatment for prostate cancer? Do we have to know that? No.
But they've always revealed everything else for everyone else.
Oh, no,
they've always said, okay, this guy's under anesthesia, so the next in charge is this person. That's just common. Even I know that.
Mm-hmm.
Charles Schultz.
Under anesthesia, yes.
Yeah, but he was.
Yeah. I don't think there's any proof of that.
Hey, I've had my prostate checked. Is that the one with the camera?
Oh, just one finger.
Oh, no, colonoscopy. Yeah, they got you for that.
A little different.
Oh, okay, whatever. Same area. Charles Schultz, your thoughts?
I see it more as a leadership issue in this situation, because I don't care if we know that he's having a medical procedure done. That's not the issue. But the fact that there's no communication about him not being at his post, doing his job, that's where I see the problem, is that the people above him might be able to handle his duties, but if they're not communicating with the person who's actually in charge, then what's going on here? Where's some gaps being, just wide open for other problems to occur? And I guess that's my bigger issue. I don't care if I know what his situation is, his health situation. He doesn't need to disclose that. I understand he's a private guy. He doesn't want to expose those types of things, but there has to be communication with the leader. There has to be communication with the people above you. You have to know where people are in case of situations where you're needed. And like Bill said, if this was a business or a company, you'd be fired.
Oh, I think a lot of people would be fired. Charles Wallace, what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I can't say much different than what the previous Charles said. Great minds think alike. Great names think alike.
All right, Cruz, as a political science major, do you have any thoughts on this?
I mean, yeah, it's one of those things where my question, because I didn't really know much about this until you asked, but did he have prostate cancer previously, or did he just go out of the blue and all of a sudden have prostate cancer? Because my theory is that something like that could have happened, and he kind of could have gone into oh shit, my life's going down. I just need some time to get away. And obviously he's in a high role, as we are all clearly know. But it could be one of those situations where he's just losing his shit, doesn't know what to do, and he just needs to escape.
No pun intended.
Yeah, literally. But it just, I think it is something to be concerned about, but at the same time, I can understand in a sense where it's one of those situations where all hell's just breaking loose and you need time.
AC, you try not to get too political, but what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I'm kind of like the judge. It's yeah, but come on, let's think about it, man. If you have cancer, do you make it public? Do you make a big fuss about it? You're hoping that you can get by without making a big deal I'm dying. And we don't know how this feels to someone if it hasn't happened to you. I lost my father to prostate cancer. I know how touching this subject can be. You say, forget the job, I'm dying. And you have to think about the person as a human. So yeah, fire him or whatever you're going to do. But I think he would rather take care of his health and his privacy first and foremost. I believe there's a chain of command. There's someone next in line that can make those decisions that he can't make because he now has to worry about his life. So if the job is that important, step down or whatever you do, what you got to do, man, to live your life with some kind of sense of like quality. Because at this point, we don't know how far along he is. Was he just diagnosed? We don't know as a person. How are you dealing with what you've just been diagnosed with? And I have no idea. I just saw my dad die and how he withered away from being a 6'5", 205-pound man dunking a basketball to now 100 pounds. And you just, all of a sudden, you're not the same person you used to be. So I just back away from it. If you needed to take time without telling someone, again, mental health is a big thing we talk about, right? We don't know what his mental state is. So we have to kind of give him his peace. And again, if he loses his job, I'm pretty sure he can care less.
Well, yeah, I'm sure he's ready for retirement anyway. Bill Geiser, go ahead.
You know, I think the tangible issue wasn't so much that he got sick and wanted to keep it private. I mean, I totally get that. The issue that I read that was concerning was that there was a 4-day period of time where the White House was not aware of this. And if that's true, that's the problem. Why wasn't the White House aware that the Secretary of Defense was incapacitated during this time? That's inexcusable.
We don't know that he was incapacitated.
I'm just saying but we have heard the report. The White House was not aware of his situation for a 4-day period. That is inexcusable.
Chalice?
Yeah, I was going to agree with Bill. I don't think the issue is that you or I weren't aware of his medical situation. The issue is if what's being reported is true, that the White House wasn't aware of where he was. That's where the issue lies. People have a right to privacy in their personal lives and in their, we have no right to know what's going on with him publicly. It doesn't have to be a big story, but the fact that the people above you, when you're in that high of a position, didn't know where you were, I see how that's an issue.
Hard to argue with that. Jim, you had your finger up?
No, I'd have to agree kind of with both sides that I'm hearing here. So like in the private and even the public sector, they call that no call, no show. No call, no show usually gets you canned. And I'm not saying the guy needs to lose his job necessarily. And there has to be some degree of respect towards his privacy in terms of the details of the illness. But correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm not that knowledgeable in politics and these types of positions, but he's got to have a staff as well. Like nobody could have communicated to the other people involved, the higher beings, that he was going to be, out of commission for a certain period of time. I just don't see why that had to not be communicated. That's my opinion.
Joe H says this is a different type of career. If you're MIA, it needs to be known. Don't need the issues publicly, but need to know you won't be there. And I mean, I think the whole chain of command and the confusion, or just what's, all the way down the line where it was just not really handled well. I think that's what pretty much bothers everyone. We're going to go to Alex, Chris, Gru, and then to wrap it up, and then we're going to go to commercial sub 68. Gru, what's your final thoughts on this one?
Well, I kind of agree with everybody. I mean, my thing is maybe they didn't tell Joe Biden purposely to prevent his brain overload, okay?
And on that note, so your brain doesn't overload from watching on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Let's go to commercial sub 60.
You have been watching Decades, a show on the NGBN.TV network.
Attention, gentlemen of distinction. Introducing NGBN.TV, the television network designed exclusively for men in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. Your go-to destination for entertainment that speaks to you, inspires you, and celebrates the incredible journey of manhood. And here's the exciting news. NGBN.TV is coming to Roku, Apple TV, Amazon, and your favorite mobile devices. Whether you're a sports enthusiast, seeking self-improvement, or just looking for a good laugh, NGBN.TV has got you covered. Entertainment, inspiration, brotherhood. Coming soon to Roku, Apple TV, Amazon, and mobile devices. NGBN.TV, where men thrive.
Back to decades. Take it away, Rubio.
January 29th, NGBN TV is going to be on Roku, Amazon, Apple, everything. So make sure we're shooting for 10,000 downloads on apps, 10,000 downloads. And everyone's thinking to yourself, Rubio, that's a lot of people right there. Yes, it is. But think about how easy it would be. Think just in your house right now, how many apps or how many devices you have that can download something. Your phone, wife's phone, sister's phone, iPads, computers, TVs. I mean, I think in mine I have like 17 total things that I'm going to be able to download. That's just one human being. So spread the word. January 29th, that's going to be a soft or sneak peek, whatever you call it, soft opening for NGBN TV. Welcome back to everyone on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Topic number 3, guys. Why are the suicide rates climbing so quickly in the first 2 weeks of 2024? Well, obviously, NGBN TV was started as a men's mental health show or network, and AC was just talking about it. Why suicide rates are climbing so quickly in the first 2 weeks of 2024? Does anyone have an answer on this one? Anyone have a thought on this one? I'm going to go to AC because he's the smoothest.
I'm the smoothest.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, it's not funny that this is the topic, but I was counseling a young man yesterday, and he was 19. He was on methamphetamines, and he wanted to kill himself. And I just think it's just a time in our lives, in our history, in our society, that's an option. It's too much of a attainable option to, okay, if I'm a burden to everybody, then I'll just get out the question. I'll just get out the equation. And I had to talk him off the cliff and, make him realize he has purpose. But it's just a time where finding a job is not the only option. Finishing myself off will be the option because I don't feel like getting a job, or I don't feel like trying. I don't feel like I didn't take care of this. I didn't take care of that. So it's just a time where it's too accessible. It's too much of oh yeah, everyone's doing it, so I should do it too. It's a tough time, and we have to break through it and give them a different option. Because I think a lot of times that's the number one option to get out of a jam.
And they don't think literally 1 second ahead. I was just talking this weekend to Cindy, remember Jim Gingrich's wife, and she said, had another damn it Jim moment where she pulled out his ski jacket and there was his ski pass with his picture. And she was just saying he's missing so much, like he doesn't even realize. And I texted him, I said, hey, my middle son is going to Montana State in full scholarship. And I go, he would have loved to go there. He loves to watch, he loves Montana. And Jim just can't do it because he made this decision that affected all of us and so many people watching and, just a family, but didn't think 1 second ahead. And that's a major problem. David Blazanet was saying decline in the economy and in inflation. That's obviously got a big thing about it. Judge, what's your thoughts on this?
Well, I don't think it has anything to do with decline in the economy or world situation at all. It's a very individual thing. I think the whole world has become, at least in the United States, way more divided, way more contentious. You get on social media, you can see all these things about on media, everybody's living a perfect life except for you. And in real life, that's not true, but they may think it is. And I just think that there's not enough emphasis on close circles of friends in spite of the social media. I think we need to go back more to neighbors and not the whole world in our face.
Mind you, Judge is my neighbors. That's why he's so adamant about having positive neighbors. I think that's a great. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Didn't we talk about would it be better to go back into like the 80s? With no social media, not as much tech. I mean, you just woke up, you rode your bike, you had a wiffle ball tournament. Charles?
Yeah, I think that it does have to do with social media. Just speaking as a young man, knowing a lot of guys and girls around my age, I do have to say, though, one of the main stresses of everybody that I know is financial. And that's not to say that that's not the stress of a lot of people in a lot of ages, but I do know that a lot of people are very stressed out about where their next meal is going to come from, where their next bill is going to be paid from. So I think, yes, social media, and you see everyone's top moments, and that makes you feel bad about yourself. But at the same time, there is an aspect of it is a very bad economy, and not that there haven't been bad economies before, but for a lot of people, it seems like there's no getting out of the hole that they're in, and that's fine.
Yeah, you're going to be very, very tough. When AC and I graduated, I remember my first teaching job. I think I made $30,000 a year as a sixth grade history teacher, and it was like $1 million to me. And that was enough money that I was able to move home. Nowadays, I would assume in LA, AC a starting teacher makes 40, maybe. I don't even know. I would assume it's gone up. But you've got two teachers, AC and his wife say they're both teachers, making $80,000 combined. There's zero chance they're buying a home in LA. Or to say the Valley. I don't care if it's San Bernardino or San Gabriel Valley or the other one, Burbank and all that stuff. But so I think I agree with Chalice on that one. Sub 60, do you have a little pop going? You're on mute, Sub 60,
You're
for
on
the
mute.
love of God. And you're the tech guy.
I know. I didn't think I was on mute. That's good. You didn't have to hear me. No, actually, where I was going to come from is, okay, so we know we were just talking about the whys and why is it happening. So what can we do? What aspect what can we do individually to help our piece of the world? Because it has to start somewhere. They talk about the grassroots effort of things, and maybe it starts with the Decadians. Showing kindness. I mean, hell, even people just trying to improve themselves on social media get hammered for trying to improve themselves, and it's really disgusting. It's really, I'm like, Jesus. There's a lot of people out there that just have nothing better to do but than to just go out attack people. But anyway, so like, what do? We just
I think the judge would say you should vote Republican. That would be a good start. Is that what you would say, Judge?
Probably.
If you want to increase the suicide rate, sure.
Cruz, what's your thoughts being 20s on this?
I would say just like specifically around this time of year, it can cause a lot of people to be lonely. The holidays just passed. A lot of times people can spend holidays without their family alone. That can get to you. I think with the New Year's coming around, people may look back at their New Year's resolutions and realize, shit, I didn't do anything that I needed to do this year. I'm a failure. And then from there, they can kind of just say, you know what, I am a failure. It's one of those situations where it's like, yeah, you can blame the economy. Yeah, you can blame this. But you also have to look at the time of the year. I mean, it's the first of the year. A lot of people are starting off on their first quarters of work. Maybe they're unhappy with their job, whatever it may be. But I think it's more than just the economy or inflation or one thing or another. I think it's a collective of things in general. And I think the only way to improve it is really just to continue reaching out to people and checking in on people and making sure that everyone's fine. Because you go without checking people, especially during the holidays. People spend Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's alone. That can really get to people. So checking in on people, I think, is a huge thing.
Yeah, that's a good point. Just reaching out, talking to someone. I was at a local bar with some buddies, and it wasn't Veterans Day or something like that, but it was recent. And this older guy, he's probably not as old as the judge. He was like 60 something, but he reached over and he grabbed my arm like this, and I'm okay. It was kind of weird. And he goes, "Are you okay?" And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Are you a vet?" And I go, "No." And he goes, "I'm just checking to see if you're okay. Everything's okay with your life?" And I go, "Yeah." And it was kind of weird, but it was kind of cool. Like after the weirdness set off that this guy's grabbing my arm, but then it came up like he was just literally just checking in. He's never met me. I didn't know this guy from Adam. And he just, "Are you okay?" And I was like, it was kind of cool to have someone, that just checked on me. And it was just weird. Like, think about how easy it is in today's society, like Cruz says, to just send a little text. Send a call. You can send a video message. I'm sure Gru can give us some points on that one. Send a video message to someone. Hey, just checking in on you. How's it going, man? Charles Schultz, you're nodding along. So what's going on? What are your thoughts?
I agree with Cruz. I think there's a lot of things that are happening. And I think one of the big things that for the increase all of a sudden, the holidays is hard. The end of the year, if you didn't get the revenue you wanted, family life's difficult, you haven't reached to the expectations that you set for yourself, and things are just now on the reset. And you combine that with a time of year where it's dark at 4:30 here where I'm at, It's cold, it's wet, you don't get outside, you're not living the life that you've been living like you do in the summer, you're not seeing your friends, there's no cookouts. So you're losing a lot of things at the same time, and it just clicks now, this window. And I think that what you'll see happen is this increase through this time, but as spring comes, you'll probably see it level off and start to come back down because you get outside more, you see your friends more, you start doing more things that are healthy for you. But as far as like fixing the problem, we need more community feel. We need more guys together. We need more locking arms and doing stuff, you know, grab a buddy, go for a run, even if it's cold outside, you know, get outside, get some fresh air, talk it out, be in the nature. You know, it's a lot of good things that happen when you get outside, and too much this time of year and too much this society that we live in, we're in front of screens. I mean, I know we're in front of screens right now doing what we're doing, but there's too much of it, and
that's what Bill Geiser. Yeah, Bill Geiser, you're always adamant about the vitamin D effect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, get outside.
I mean, and you're lucky enough to live in Florida.
It's God's vaccine, just sunshine. But you know, the one thing we've talked about stress, and I think that is kind of the trigger. But what that leads to over time, and this is where it gets dangerous, is hopelessness, is despair, a lack of hope. All of us go through stressful periods in our lives. Everyone does, and over time we learn how to deal with it. Everyone deals with it differently, and some deal with it better than others. But it's when it crosses that line into hopelessness that the danger signs start to go off. And I think what Cruz said about checking in with your friends is really important. And I think we're in a stressful period of time. The holidays are usually, you know, I call it a holiday hangover. After, you know, everyone leaves and you know, you're just kind of back into the rut of things. And I do think that for a sizable portion of America, financial stress has been ongoing, and it's taken a toll. So, you know, it's not an easy problem to solve, but it's a very real problem.
I would agree. Cruz, and then we're going to cut to commercial.
Sorry. So I was just doing some quick research because I kept seeing that there was some talk about like the current state of America and that and economics. And yeah, that's a true point. But if you look at the numbers from 2008, it's about 18.9 suicides per 100,000 men in 2008. And then if you look at the number from say 2017, when economics were pretty good and you know, state of America was pretty decent, it was 22. So I do think it's just as time goes by and everything happening, I think that as the past couple of years have continued to move on, I just think that suicide has become much more accepted and something has to change. And it's not just the economy or inflation.
Go ahead, Jim, you want to chime in, and then we'll go to commercial sub 16.
Yeah, real quick. I did a little research too, and I would have thought the holiday time would have been when the highest rates were. They're actually not. It's more late spring and summer. But I do agree with Cruz. I think, and this topic is personal to me. I lost my oldest brother, 2011. I think people feel alone, and we have to recognize that and reach out to them and make them feel as if they're not alone and give them hope. You know, he wasn't hurting financially. I know that. So there's more reasons, and it's hard to know what's going on with people when they're suffering. So
I would agree. On that note, sub 60, take us away.
You have been watching Decades, a show on the NGBN.TV network.
This is NGBN TV, a network for men and home to top experts, speakers, authors, and more. Streaming TV for men, created by men.
But why?
Why are we a network that inspires,
educates, entertains, celebrates, and supports
men in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, simply to save men's lives?
There is an epidemic in our community,
and it's taking men from us.
I'm talking about mental health and suicide.
But we have an answer, and it's streaming, live shows, sports, concerts, and more.
In a real way for men to lock shields.
We can't wait to launch this TV network for you and with you.
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 Join our movement at ngbn.tv, coming January 2024.
Back to decades. Take it away, Rubio.
I'm locking shields with Sub 60 Ed again.
That's great, but see,
I love that commercial.
Nanamona will save me because see, I'm going to change the subject real quick and say, oh look, see, we make her weak. So that's good. See, so I diverting Nanamona. To be honest, I wait for Tuesday for the show. You make my week. Thank you, Nanamona.
She's talking to me.
That. No, she's not talking to you at all.
She says right
she's
there.
She's talking to everybody. I wait. Yes.
What are you trying to say,
yes.
Sub 60?
She's waiting for that commercial. She just wants to see you save lock shields.
That's what makes her weak. To see the lock shields. Yeah.
She's at work. Let's lock some shields.
I like the way he leans forward when he says it.
Remember, tonight, Sub 60 Ed is going to pick the panelist of the show, but we also want you, the people that are watching on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook, you can start nominating who you would like to be the winner of the panelists of the show. All right.
Yeah, I've already asked. I already asked too. I've already posted something out there earlier in the show.
I saw it, but you didn't leave it up long enough. You got to. Is it just fermenting on there?
Yeah, it's fermenting on there. Exactly. Just host the show and just keep it going.
I just love how your little rectangle has the NGBN logo, so you have to keep leaning like this.
Yes, I know. I have to make sure I keep it up there, or I get my hand slapped if I.
It's almost like Chalice's bandana on your head.
Yeah, it is.
A little NGBN bandana. All right, last topic, and we're going to move it quick here because we're at 46 minutes in. New Year's resolutions, do they work or not? Let's go, Gru.
I think they kind of work in people's mind, and I read that actually the New Year's resolutions are kind of active for the first week of January, and everybody forgets about it till December 31st. So nobody cares.
Okay,
in my opinion.
Jim Scarano, the resolutions, do they work or not?
I would say it's an individual thing. I would hope that they work for some people, but I think if you look at the whole body of everybody, probably not. No, I think people drop them by sometime in February and they get back to their ways.
Bill Geiser, do you make a New Year's resolution and do they work?
I do make them. I don't follow all of them, but I think it's a really good practice. And I think it promotes good mental health. I think everyone should do it.
Okay. Chalice, your thoughts?
I think, and this might be me being a hard ass, but I think if you are waiting for a specific day on the calendar to make a change, you don't really want it bad enough. Like I had a New Year's resolution. I was going to start spending more time with my wife and less time with my girlfriend, and I failed that by January 2nd. So you don't need to wait January 1st to do it.
Oh,
boy. Okay. Yes, the Jim and X do love this time of the year, David. Cruz, New Year's resolutions, do they work or not?
I think the idea of them work perfectly. I think as long as you are partaking in them, then they work. But the second you stop, they don't work. So I think it's all up to the individual, kind of like what Jim said.
Was that just like a Kamala Harris statement right there? They work as long as they work, when they don't work when they don't work?
Sorry. I'm saying as long as the person commits to it.
Terrible.
My bad. Once I said I knew you're gonna shit on it's fine. Once if someone commits to it, then it in hypothetical sense it works. But the second someone isn't committed to it, then there's no point even.
Okay. Yeah. All right, Charles Schultz, what's your thoughts?
I don't think there's anything wrong with the resolution. I think the problem lies in the fact that we create something that we say we want to promise to ourselves, because a resolution is a promise to change, to do something or not do something. And then we get to a point where we don't create the plan to follow the promise. So it's not the resolution's not the problem. It's the planning after the resolution. So if you want to lose weight in the new year, how? What are you committing to do? You just can't say I'm going to lose weight this year and then wing it, because then by January 15th, you're not doing it. So whatever resolution people are writing down or saying or committing to, do the other steps. Set yourself up for success, and then the resolution actually has some weight to it.
I like that. Judge,
I think
you've seen the most New Year's.
they absolutely work. Mine for the last 20 years was to be better looking this year than the year before, and it's obviously
God love your confidence. And the only person shorter than the judge, sub 60, do New Year's resolutions work?
No, I don't think they work. I think you need to have specific goals and you have to stick to them. So I believe in setting the goals and not necessarily the resolutions. Just I know it's kind of
do you make
what's
one?
that? No.
Do you make it?
Yeah. I told you what mine. I told you guys what what mine are.
Can you write them down?
No, I don't write them down. Lock and
AC
shield.
it up, it's lock and shield.
Lock and shields. No, I don't write them down. I keep them in my head. They stay in front of me. How about you? How about yourself?
I'll wrap it up, sub 60. This is my show.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought this was our show. Okay, I'm sorry.
It is for Decadia, but I'm the host. See that?
You're the president of Decadia.
I'm controlling the cats. AC, resolutions working on.
Depends on the resolution. If it's like Chuck said, something that's not attainable with the plan, it's not going to work. But for myself, it's something easy, like no soda this year, and I'm gonna read my Bible every day, and that's probably that's about as far as I can reach. Everything else, I'm gonna eat my catfish. I'm gonna eat my cheesesteaks. I'm gonna probably eat pretty bad. I'm gonna try to work it out to get the workout, to burn the calories. But let's be realistic.
You got cheesesteaks in LA?
Oh, I make them myself.
AC makes with Cactus Cooler. Sub 60, do I make resolutions? I kind of just keep in my head. I think that the main problem people have with resolutions is they make too big of ones where like, I'm going to lose 100 pounds this year. Dude, just say you're going to lose 5 pounds and let's just go from there. AC's going to go the entire year without drinking a soda. That's a day-by-day process because he's going to, all of a sudden be at some place and he's dying of thirst and there's an A&W root beer or a Cactus Cooler.
I didn't have a Cactus Cooler at my own party on Friday.
Yeah, see? And I know you're into the Cactus Cooler.
I brought the Cactus Cooler. I supplied it, and I said no. And everyone's like, wow.
That's a lot of willpower.
You're
Jesus.
a new man.
Yeah.
What the hell's a Cactus Cooler?
Oh my
God.
It's
All
the
right,
best.
sub 60.
They have that one
Well,
of these
hold
other
on.
ones.
Well, hold on. No, now that Jim's opened that Pandora's box, what is a Cactus Cooler?
It's just pineapple orange soda.
It's
It's a pineapple orange soda. It was huge in the 80s. It's very refreshing.
Yeah, very cold.
No.
It's like a
That's a Jim.
on steroids.
Jim, I'm sure that's a West Coast thing. That's not an East Coast thing.
Probably.
All Cactus, maybe Arizona. I don't know.
How about stubborn
I don't know.
pineapple soda? Stubborn pineapple cream soda.
It sounds good.
Yeah, very tasty. Okay, sub 60. Who's the winner?
Well, I only got one person who really chimed in from the audience, and I want to give it to that person, and it was Gru. They gave it to Gru. Yes.
Hey!
Gru gets it.
Good job, Brew. Well, for all of us in Decadia, for Charles Wallace, Sub 60 Ed, AC, Bill Geiser, Gru, the judge, Charles Schultz, Cruz Rubio, Jim Scarano, and myself, Chris Rubio, we want to say thanks for chiming in. Don't forget, you got AC Sports Live at 9 p.m. Pacific time. AC Sports Live. AC, I'm assuming it's on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, all that good stuff, Twitch, everywhere.
That's correct.
All right, it's going to be a good topic. Happy birthday, AC. We're out of here.
Happy birthday.
Cheers.
Thanks for watching
Cheers.
Decades on the NGBN.TV network. Be sure to spread the word, and don't forget to subscribe, like, or follow on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook.